Ashton,
Yes, sir.
day 2 inner circle, Boise, Idaho, and he's the man when it comes to bad marketing. Good marketing, online marketing, digital agencies, e-commerce, you name it, acquisitions. So tell us a little bit more about what you do, what you're up to these days.
Yeah, so like you'd said, our company's called Bad Marketing. We have 184 staff members. We do e-commerce, local, Amazon, email, information products, and we do everything from the ads to the content to the websites to the funnels. Yeah, all over the place.
Beautiful. And you've been doing this for what, 10, 15 years? Or
I've been in marketing for about 10 years now. Owned a business for 4 years now.
incredible, amazing. And you also are doing some small business acquisitions, which this show is all about. Invest and scale. It's all about buying versus starting.
Yeah.
You started it, but also acquire a few businesses. So
Yeah. I've acquired a copywriting agency, acquired a consulting company, and sales agency, traffic and funnels, and then we've been wrapping up other agencies now as well that are in the digital marketing space and in Amazon or email. Now just wrapping them into our main company, Bad Marketing.
So there's the obvious way of buying a business, which is, again, there's all kind of different flavors. You can use SBA loans, you can self-finance and whatnot. But apparently you guys do something pretty unique, which is creative deal making,
Yeah.
which is very different than anybody. And what are some of the top learnings that you have had in the past few years when it comes to deal structures and
Yeah.
things that are different from the one-on-one deal making?
Yeah, so I think a big thing for us, like you had said, we do a lot of creative deals with other agency owners where they're really in a spot that they're fantastic marketers and they started the business because they're great marketers, and then they started building it and realizing, oh man, I've got to be a business owner, I've got to be good at HR, be good at operations, be good at sales and client acquisition while still being a great marketer. And so I think one of the big lessons for us is, one, making sure that we're finding founders that have very similar visions to us, that they're not just looking for the lifestyle business. They have a mission, they have a goal, and really for us, it's hey, we have this vision for down the road we want to exit, and this is where we want to exit for, and we really want partners that are inspired by that, right? And someone who can have visionary like mindset for what they're doing. If they're in Amazon, they have the vision to be the best at Amazon, or email the best at email. And for us, we just get to come alongside them of going, hey, we have the resources to bring in clients. We know how to fill client rosters. We have the operations back end. We have the HR. And let us put you in a spot to where you can just do what you do best and let us take care of the rest. And Eddie and I are great business operators. And so, hey, let us be the operators. Let us really build the business in a way that can scale. And you just focus on what you like to do best.
Yes, absolutely. And outside of agencies as well, there's a video I absolutely love. I'll drop it in the show notes, that Eddie is going through all these different creative deal making, and I think it's a facility, a gold card facility that was transformed into something else. And
Yep. Yeah, he has a family center, that does go-karts and arcade games. He also acquired a chicken franchise.
That's right.
That's Skullville Chicken that's been doing really, really well. And so, yeah, man, Eddie's great at finding opportunity, and he knows how to build a business.
What about partnership itself? Like, there's definitely a powerhouse, a team, like you said, it's almost 200 people. And what are some of the top takeaways from you on deal making, specifically when you guys are making tough decisions about what are we buying, what are we not buying? You have now a bunch of stakeholders, potentially investors down the road, apparently, that ways when you say you have a future capital intention of raising capital. So partnership, what does that look like?
So it depends on, what the main purpose of that partnership is, right? So if we're acquiring an agency and we're wanting to take a majority of it, there's either where Eddie and I, it's where we took partnership in the mother company, right? But a lot of our deal structures are, creating a separate subsidiary underneath the mother company that we then go into partnership with that owner. But I think when deciding on what you're going to do or how you're going to structure the deal, it just depends on what your outcome is, right? What is the ultimate goal that you're really trying to do? Because, for Eddie and I, it was, hey, this entity, this organization, we're in it for the long haul. And a lot of the other ones, it's, hey, they're jumping onto the ship and we're going to grow together and we're going to exit. We want them to play a part in that exit as well. And a subsidiary allows you to really track it more clean, to know the true value of what their portion was at exit. And so I think really you've just got to know what the outcome you're looking for is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny that the whole industry, when it comes to agency, there's been a shift in the past 35 years, and really the past 2 years after AI, that almost every single agency say we are not an agency. We are insert blank like growth partners, whatever. Have you seen anything lately that has set you apart from the traditional agency model, like typical retainer fees? I know you guys do retainers, but is there anything else that is just special to the model that you guys are pursuing, or you are actually an agency compared to other people saying that we're not an agency?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? Because even in that sense, it's just like marketing. You see the same thing in car sales or sales, right? They're no longer salesmen; they're account executives, right? And so, I think anytime you have a space that can start to have negative reputation, you'll see the people who try to zag from it, right? And so long as it comes off authentic zagging, then I think you can do well. But a lot of times I think it's just people's way of trying to sound unique, but they don't sound unique. I have no problem in saying that we're an agency. We're an advertising marketing agency. In the side of our business where we take a portion of net profits, where we're truly a partner with them and we are handling all of their marketing, an agency might be a weird thing to say. But our business as a whole is an agency. And I think if you want to separate yourself from that negative reputation, deliver great results. You shouldn't be ashamed to call yourself an agency if you're great at being an agency. Yeah. But I think it's the ones that are almost ashamed, or they're worried that they're going to be compared to everyone else, and they're worried about their reputation because they don't have one. So they're almost leaning on the reputation of an agency. Those are the ones that you see get nervous or trying to come up with a random name to sound fancy and unique. But at the end of the day, it's this truth in every industry. If you're good at what you do, you don't have to be ashamed of what you call yourself. It almost doesn't matter because by the time they're on the phone with you, they already know that you know what you're doing.
Results, 100%. Now, this is a separate creative question. It's not really anything related to your business. So pretending that you don't have what you have right now and the vision that you have for agencies, if you have, a seven-figure budget, a multi-seven-figure budget to buy any business, do you have any crazy ideas or things that you like to do that is not related to what you do? So any crazy ideas on like cool businesses you've seen out there?
I have a whole list of businesses. I think again, it comes down to like, what is your goal, right? If you have a multi-seven-figure budget and you're looking for something passive, just go into commercial real estate. Right. I mean, you can buy a lot of commercial real estate if you have multiple seven figures. But when it comes to business models, anything in software, SaaS is great. I actually have had a big vision for a worm farm and worm castings farm.
What?
Specifically for the cannabis industry.
Yes.
I've had ideas for things called fan food that's like Uber Eats, but at sports stadiums.
Oh, wow.
There's a whole list of them, but I think if I had the skills I had now, but I couldn't go into the same business, I would be looking for the industries or businesses that have great business models, have long-standing reputation, customers are still going to continue to buy, but suffer in marketing. Right, I very much believe like lawn mowing businesses, land care, landscaping businesses have a lot of room to grow, and they'll always be here. But I think they struggle at marketing. Yes. There's a lot of things like that, and so that's where I'd be probably looking at. But as far as business model, if you can get into SaaS, you can build something great. Then that's the best business as far as exit potential.
Yeah, you mentioned objective multiple times. Do you mind sharing what are some of either business or personal objective when you talk about like 3 to 5 years, or like what's the big vision for you?
Well, first is, we'll build bad marketing to eventually someday exit. And our goal is well north of 9 figures. And so that'll be our first target. But really long term, I'm a builder. I love finding businesses. I'm very good at reading a business's potential. I'm very good at creating momentum. And so I really ideally find myself in a spot of investing in capital and then ultimately consulting and having a portfolio of brands where I just kind of get to build all day. And that's what I love to do. But not have to operate.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to start wrapping up, in terms of somebody that is, having an agency, let's say, low 7 figures or multi 7 figures, what is a good fit for you guys in terms of criteria, type of services, industries, in terms of acquiring a potential agency?
When it comes to agency right now, talent is a big thing for us. When we're specifically right now, when we're looking to buy, that's oftentimes what we're looking to buy is talent. Of course, portfolio is great. Do they have clients that we believe would add value to our company? But for us, even as now with our size, a lot of times with an agency is, do they offer something unique that we don't do already, that we can apply to our business, and not only, of course, scale that business, but apply to all of our existing nearly 300 some clients already that could build value for their companies. And then, of course, it's, do they have any unicorn employees? That would be great for us. Talent in an agency is everything. And so we can apply and get great talent that way. For us, oftentimes it can be quicker than going and just trying to recruit for talent. Sometimes it's just acquiring it is a great way to do it. Then I think the other thing too, though, is in business for us, it's not a huge thing, but I know for a lot of people who are looking to buy agencies, is do they have a method of acquiring clients right now that is not based on the owner? Do they have an actual system for acquiring clients?
Referrals?
Referrals is not a system,
No,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and that's what a lot of agencies are depending on, and they hold their valuation up here based on their revenue, and they're giving themselves a 4, 5, 6x multiple, but they actually have no acquisition source, which means you don't have a real business here. And so I think a lot of people are over evaluating their business just because they look at the revenue and think that's everything.
Yes, that's so good. Yeah, and my mind's going all over with valuations, nowadays in agencies and people. I mean, there's this website, acquire.com, that there's, a lot of agencies wanting to sell, and then valuations for like 8 or 10x, and it's just unrealistic expectations. So when it comes to then for buyers, people are wanting to buy agencies. You already alluded to some of the criteria that you have, but what are some of the mistakes or things that you guys learned, along the way as well to say, hey, just be aware of this? You mentioned acquisition of talent, but you mentioned customer acquisition. What else do you think is important?
Yeah, definitely looking at their how much do they lean on a certain industry or niche with their client portfolios. What clients are taking up the lion's share of their revenues? Do they have 2 clients that are making up 40% of their revenue? What happens to those? What are the point of contacts that they have in those businesses? Is it just one person? Meaning, hey, if I acquire this business, all of a sudden their CMO leaves or gets fired, am I going to lose this client? A lot of times that's what happens. They'll bring someone else in. That new person wants to clean house, get a new agency. I think another thing is looking even at their contracts. Do they have terms in their contracts that those contracts are transferable? A lot of the times contracts by default will have a non-assignment clause, which means if I buy the business, I've got to get every single one of your clients to re-sign a new contract with me. And so you've got to watch all of that stuff. I think it's really important.
Excellent, man. You've been super generous today. Any final advice for, again, we call it entrepreneurial investors, so, in the acquisition field. Any final advice, anything else you want to share?
Yeah, for anyone who's looking to buy a business, understand, just like with talent and hiring talent, the key is volume. Don't just expect to find a great business to buy if you've only looked at 10 businesses. Expect to look at 100, 200, 300 businesses. That's when you start to find great deals. I know one thing for me when I started to want to learn about acquisition, I would be looking at about a deal to 2 deals a day, and I did this for like 6 months with no intention to buy, just so that I could get used to what do businesses look like when they're trying to sell. What are different term styles they have? How do I know a good deal from a bad deal? It's just like with a lot of things in life, the more volume and repetition you can get into, the better. So if you're looking to buy a business, play the long game and be like, I'm going to look through 100 deals, 300 deals, because I'm not just going to expect to find a winner in 10 deals. If you do that, that's when you start making bad investment mistakes and you look back and go, man, I wish I didn't buy that business.
Boom. Ashton, Shanks, man, you're the man. Bat marketing, they're all over. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Sweet. That's short and sweet.